Let me turn to the caravans headed toward the U.S. Mexico has started to receive people from the migrant caravan as U.S. troops are now there, set up barbed wire on the southern border. From a national security perspective, how should we view this caravan and the need to put barbed wire up already?
Well, look, this caravan that we're talking about and others that are being formed is a very politicized effort to make a point about the United States. You know, there are groups in Latin America, groups around the world that talk about a borderless society, that people can come into any country they want, anytime they want. We should have a philosophical discussion about that. That's not the American view. I personally think there ought to be more immigration into the United States, but controlled and legal immigration that we get to decide. And control of the southern border is not just an immigration issue alone. It's also a national security question. Human trafficking, drug trafficking, the risk of weapons of mass destruction and terrorists coming across the border. I think this is something people are rightly concerned about. I think President Trump's got the answer for them.
Ambassador, I want to end where we began, and that is on Iran. There was a report on Friday that China is looking to buy oil from the United States as opposed to Iran. And this is going to be the beginning of a new trade deal that the president's going to talk with President Xi about when he sees him at the G20. Truth?
I think there's a lot of possibility. I think the American production of oil and gas and the potential for export is enormous. It's a strategic alternative for the Europeans from buying Russian oil and gas. It could be a strategic alternative in the Far East as well. You already see Chinese banks that are stopping clearing Iranian financial transactions because they'd rather do business in the United States. The same is true for many other Chinese businesses. The reach of American economic power is enormous, and that's what the president's using here.
So how significant would that be in the middle of this fight with China over the theft of intellectual property? And this sounds like this could be a really big deal.
Look, the president probably is going to be able to see Chinese President Xi Jinping at the G20 meeting in Argentina at the end of this month. The president's used the trade weapon here in ways that have never been used before. I think he's caught the Chinese off balance. They say, whoa, an American president who doesn't act like a well-bred doormat when we trample all over WTO rules. So I think the president's really changed the dynamic with China. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, great information, Ambassador. Great to see you.
Glad to be here.
Thank you so much. Ambassador John Bolton joining us there.